Jim, we're going to talk about AI investment. And I need to know from you the enormous opportunities, or are there risks coming down the track on the kind of thing that we've just heard from Will.i.am and Alubijani?
Well, wonderful to be back.
Sit back a little.
Wonderful to be back here in Riyadh. Hope you can all hear. I feel like the luckiest investor in the world right now. I've loved venture capital and technology investing now for many years. And today we have an opportunity to invest in interdisciplinary entrepreneurs, people who are focused on physics, who are focused on medicine, cancer, as well as the great machine learning coding entrepreneurs, bringing them together and creating generationally new medical science companies that will make profound differences to all of us, whether it's cancer, leukemia, surgery, we could go on. And I've never seen a time quite like this where we have a chance to change medicine through breakthrough AI technologies and make a real difference for doctors, nurses, and patients.
What about the risk for the money?
There's tremendous risk, of course, but what is particularly exciting is the leaders in these spaces will be US, China, India, the Middle East. They'll be coming from academic institutions. And so this year alone, I've been on campus speaking to professors, to postdocs at 20 different institutions around the world: Harvard, MIT, Stanford, Berkeley, Tsinghua, Beida, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, Bangalore. The students, the faculty, the medical schools are energized in a way that I think, while entrepreneurial ventures are always risky, the chance to do a breakout 50 or 100x-like opportunity, while at the same time profoundly doing good in areas like cancer outcomes, hospitals. I think we're at a very unique time in that manner, which is why I'm so enthusiastic.
Now, Ali Parsa, who's going to be talking about digital health immediately after you, he's the founder and CEO of Babylon Health. So let's not get too involved in health at the moment. But when you look at the overall risk profile, but also the potential profile for AI investment, which way would you say it's going at the moment? Is risk being taken as full face, as full on as it could be, or could more risk be taken?
Well, I think as an investor, we're always running probabilities of outcomes. And so as a portfolio, and for the students and postdocs in the audience, who are the entrepreneurs of this generation, at times you want to take great long-term risk in science and foundational risk, but there has to be an understanding of timing. For instance, I visited with perhaps 10 of the leading quantum computer scientists in the world this calendar year. Not one of them believes this is the right time to start a quantum company. They believe it will happen.
You want to explain what a quantum company is for those who don't yet understand quantum computing?
Well, the easy way to describe it for all of you is digital computing, ones and zeros. Quantum computing allows the capability of computing to do something in between and isn't just forced at a 0 or 1 function.
And I think Google did something recently which was done in 3 seconds compared to 10,000 years?
I believe that's about right. IBM, Microsoft, that's the scale. So what does that mean? For areas like cryptography, areas like healthcare and brain simulation, these are areas where our computing resources today don't allow the full entrepreneurial upside to occur. If we're trying to map brain, if we're just trying to emulate human common sense, the best computers in the world today that I've seen at Stanford and MIT, Cambridge, Oxford, Beijing, they read at the 2nd grade level. Think of the opportunity. We're at the 2nd grade level today at the very best computing systems in the world. Think of a decade from now when they're at high school level, what that means for education, for healthcare, and for training around the world.
When you look at cloud data and visual computing, What about the data that's out there, which is almost impossible to quantify in a way that the human brain can understand at the moment, and the potential to make that into a business?
Well, in ways, the very large data providers, the Googles, Amazons, there's a reason they're so good at what they do, and they apply massive machine learning against those very large data sets. However, if we just take cancer, the very best cancer data is at many of the very best medical schools and academic centers in the United States. Sloan Kettering, MD Anderson, Mass General, Harvard Medical School. So the quantity of the data is not necessarily what a Google, Facebook, and Amazon has, but if one needs specialized breast or prostate cancer data, those hospitals are where you want to look at the data, to visually compute against that data, and help slides come back in 2 days instead of 10, have false positives go down by 90%, and that's what a lot of the entrepreneurs that Breyer Capital's backing is. That's what they're trying to do.
Now, Jim, don't go too far down that track, otherwise I won't have much to talk to Ali about in a moment. But again, the business of who is going to do this, who you want to invest in. You're making a point of saying it's about team investment.
It's about team more than ever. There was a time in the internet or in software where there was a singular entrepreneur who could pull it off. In today's AI companies, as an investor, I'm trying to back the great Google, Facebook, or Amazon machine learning people, but combining those teams with the brilliant cancer researchers at Mass General and Memorial Sloan Kettering, and they all have to work in the same company, work against the same product objectives, and so that degree of specialization by category, all put for a common base to try to develop, again, machine learning that's going to help us understand how to eradicate cancer in the next 20 years. That depends on great biologists, neuroscientists, computer scientists, machine learning, and at the same time, there's an ethics involved, which really does depend on great liberal arts, philosophical and linguistic expertise as well.
In this final minute, though, this business of investment in AI, is it possible to simply say it is simple as that? It is about putting money into AI opportunities and AI potential? Or are there twists and turns which are coming down the track, which you can identify already?
Well, I received over 10,000 AI business plans this calendar year already, mostly from the US and China, and I've funded 6. And so therefore, what does one look for? Nobel laureate-like science, machine learning that sits at the top of the Google, Facebook, Apple pantheon of great coding expertise, and a team that understands their strengths, weaknesses, and has some ability to listen, which is not always the case.
And do those who come to you realize that, the 6 who submitted that, did they realize that they had got the right application compared to the other many thousand?
Well, I think in Silicon Valley, everyone believes they're the next Google or Facebook. So I would say the vast majority felt they have the right combination. But one just needs to do the reference checks at the very best hospitals and academic centers and professors and postdocs. And it's so global and worldwide. That's also the fun. Great AI, like great environmental sustainability, depends on worldwide partnerships, worldwide academic partnerships, and that's very exciting.
Jim Breyer, thank you very much indeed for those insights before we hear from Ali talking about the medical side of this. Thank you very much indeed.